Hello, welcome back to Big Bear Automations. We're on day 14 of learning n8n in a year. If you don't know what this is all about, please go back to day one. I'll put a link on the screen. We've set up our self-hosted n8n. We've done a few overarching videos, webhooks, if nodes, the core fundamentals. Day 14 is going to be all about web contact form workflows. We are going to build out a workflow and test out a few things that we've been building and been looking at over the last couple of days. So what I've set up is a brand new workflow with nothing in it. It's day 14. We've put nothing in it at the moment. We're going to need Postman, so go back to where we set up Postman, and there's a link there for all of the collection and the APIs that you need, so you can go and have a look at that. But we're going to set up a webhook, and we're going to do a post because we want to receive some data. I'm not going to do any authentication today, just because we're testing and we don't need it at the moment. So get this. We send our data. Workflow has started. Thank you, Postman. Go over here, come down, and we can see our body, right? So that's us just setting up our webhook trigger. That is going to be a mimic for our form submission. So what actually is going to happen is this would be a type form submission, a Google form submission, a Microsoft form submission, and this data is what we collected, and it automatically triggers the webhook. But for testing purposes, we're going to use Postman because it's easier. So let's crack on. Now that we configured our post, we are going to look at data structure. So our data structure is as follows. We've got a body with the name, the email address, the message, and the subject. Now, these are all in here, and this is all example data. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at a way to professionally create an email, and then we'll set a node to format everything nicely and make it look cool when we submit, and then go and have a look at the email that we submit. Okay, so what we need now is a set node because we're going to format the data how we need it. Again, we've done set nodes, so please go and have a look at day 12, I think. I'll add a link somewhere. And we're going to format our email. So formatted subject. In here, we're going to say new contact form submission. And we're going to take our subject from the body that's been passed and add it in here. Cool. We're then going to do formatted message. So we're going to add in a nice HTML message that's going to look actually, you know what? We're going to do it the lazy way. We're going to head over to ChatGPT. Other AIs are available. And we're going to say, create a nice looking HTML for an email that will inform the user of contact submission. When my laptop catches up with itself. Thank you. That looks all nice. Thank you. You're so cool. Copy. Thank you, AI. God, gotta love AI. We'll open up this so we can see what we're doing. Cool. I'm gonna turn this into expression and open it up better so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're gonna format it a little bit nicer, probably remove a little something. So hello. So new contact submission from our contact name, which is Sarah. Apologies if there's a Sarah Johnson listening in. This is the form that we have received a new contact submission for our website. Please review the details. Okay. I don't want this. You know what? Yeah. Let's do this. Sarah. Email. We didn't do a phone, and we have got a message here. Cool. Thank you for your attention. Love that. We're also going to add in another p tag, and that is going to be, this was submitted on date dot. I think that's it. No, don't like that. Oh, execute previous nodes. Okay. Where are we? Oh, let's copy that before I lose it all, because I know what's going to happen. Test. Okay, open this. Execute previous nodes to... I've just executed the previous... Okay. These are the fun. All right, let's just test the whole thing. Right. Now I've tested the previous node, surely. Thank you. Okay. So now we want date line dot. Sure, it's date top down. Date R, capital T. There we go. No. Capital T. There we go. Cool. Don't forget that capital T, it's very important. So that's our formatted message. We're then gonna do the sender's name. And all we're doing is formatting it in a common format so that we can call upon these variables as and when we need it. Which makes it easier to understand as we go through. And we're going to test that. We should have all the gumph that we need. Perfect. Right. Then we're going to add in our email node. So we'll go to Gmail, because that's the one we've set up. If you go through the other days, you'll see how to set this up. And we're going to send a message to Gmail. Now, the to is going to go to me, but we would use the email that was submitted through the form submission. So for now, we're just going to send it so we can see it, but you would use sender's email, right? So formatted subject and formatted message like this. And we can test. Sent. I'm going to add another email, and it's going to be a label just so we can see it easier. We're going to pass in the message ID, and we're going to send it to the n8n test label, And then when we come back here, we'll see our new beautiful contact form. So this is submission notification, the details, and the timestamp that it was sent, which is perfect. So now we're building out a workflow that we can start using in the real world, a form submission workflow. And we get email notifications based on what has been submitted. So if you had a custom one on a custom Webflow website, etc., we can use it. Okay, so because last one was the if node, we're going to look at the if node and we're going to add in a spam filter. So what we're going to do is add in an if node here. So what we're going to check is if the message is no longer than 10 characters, it's then too short and it's probably spam. Someone just said, hey, look at me. Verify the email contains an @ symbol and check that the name field isn't empty. So how are we going to do that? First things first is we're going to go to the webhook. We're going to check that the message length 83 is greater than 10. And so it has to be both of these. The email address contains a @ symbol. And so all three of these need to be checked. The name is not empty. So we test that, and obviously this will go through, which is perfect. Now, what if and we want it to go down the true path, right? We want to send those emails and we want it to go down into our test email. So if we test that, submit the same data from our postman, go back to n8n, it will go through, tick all the boxes, go to your Gmail, and luckily we've got a lovely contact submission form. Now, what if this was spam? And they've not put their name in. We're going to test the workflow. We're going to submit our data via postman. Test flow is done. Uh-oh, it's gone down the false. Why is that? And that is because the the data doesn't hit all of these scenarios. So we know that we've just removed the name, so it's not empty. It is empty, so therefore this is true, false, and it goes down the false path. Now, if this was false, we would want to capture the reason why we're getting spam, or who spammed, or what it is, or etc. So we could then add another node in here, not send, Gmail, send message to say we think this is spam. Go down here. And then we're gonna label this up with our ID. n8n test that. And then when we go back to here, we've got spam. But you're starting to understand the mentality, the logic behind capturing these things. Let's clean this up so it looks good. And what that means. So there's a little bit about the webhooks that we've learned, the set node that we've learned, the if node that we've learned, and the emails, and what true and false, and the whole workflow scenario, which is really good, and bringing it all together makes it a lot easier to understand. So before we wrap up, we want to talk about something crucial, and that's privacy and data protection. When you're handling contact form data, you're dealing with personal information, and that comes with responsibilities. So key considerations: data storage. n8n stores their executions in here. So all of the data behind the scenes will be stored in n8n underneath the executions. So for sensitive information, consider using the save data on success setting carefully, because you will store everything for a certain period of time. And if you need it, the best thing to do is probably have something on your form to say, I consent with you saving this, a little checkbox, that sort of stuff. It just means that one, you've got it stored and you've got that okay, that's okay with your client, and two, it just covers you off a little bit. I would recommend not storing personal data longer than necessary. So if you don't need all the executions, maybe delete them every 7 days, or sort your settings out so that you can delete them. It's just small things like that mean that you don't need to worry too much around it, because you don't want to be storing all this data. Now, I'm not 100% sure where we can update our workflow storage. It might be in here. Yeah. So it's all in here. So save manual executions, save execution progress, save or do not save, save production executions, do not save, save default save. So you can just say save successful productions executions. I'd say don't save. If it's successful, leave it. I would say save your failed executions, because you want to know what happened, and then as soon as you're happy with it, I'd delete them. That's my recommendation. So that's our final end-to-end test, really mopping up the last couple of days into one workflow. So your homework, if you choose to accept it, is build this workflow and test it with your own contact form. Build out a type form, build out a Google form, and see whether you can connect it in. If you can't, give me a message and I will help out and jump on. And that's it for day 13. 14, God. And you now have potentially a successful contact form automation that you can save. Make sure you add your tags in, which could be learning n8n and Gmail and webhooks, so you can store it and filter on it when you need it later date. Again, please check out the rest of the n8n tutorials, and please subscribe, share, comment, like. It really helps the channel grow. So it's all about getting this community up and running and seeing what we can do together. So thank you for your support.